Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I think it's still morning in Nigeria. I don't know where you are.
It's good. It's 11 o'clock. Good morning, sir.
Good
You're
morning.
well welcome to this session. We're going on a journey this morning, an interesting journey. So I'm going to hand over to my able Madam Mrs. Neka Okekaro to continue from here. Thank you so much.
Good morning, everybody, and thank you very much, Colette. Uncle Obi, good morning, and thank you so much for your time and for allowing us to have this virtual visit.
After weeks of harassment.
Thank you for allowing me to harass you. Thank you so much. So we have with us the SEM 48 class. At the Enterprise Development Center, we have a flagship program called Certificate in Entrepreneurship Management, which is a 5-month program that takes entrepreneurs or would-be entrepreneurs through all the functional areas that will help them run their business. Now, as part of that program, what we do is that we also take them on a company visit. With COVID and everything that COVID brought, one thing that it definitely brought out for us at the center is our creativity. So we've continued with our classes, we've taken them online. We've continued with advisory services that we used to do physically. We also took that online. And now, for the first time ever, we are doing our first ever virtual visit. So as part of the program, the entrepreneurs get the opportunity to visit an entrepreneur who has been running a business for a long time, and whom they can glean knowledge from, somebody that has been through it all. And this year, when we're talking at the management level, we realized that your factory, because myself and Banky, the director, we visited your factory, that your business was one that would be worthy to be visited. And that's when I started harassing you a couple of weeks back. So thank you so much for that. So the class is made up of entrepreneurs across all sectors. We have people in real estate. We have people that are in retail, selling luxury products and regular products. I think we have some people in services. We might have some in lifestyle as well. And all these people in the class are business owners. Some from as early as in the last 6 months, 1 year, and some have run their businesses for more than 10 years. And they're quite excited to learn from you. So typically, for both the class and for you, Uncle Obi, this is a first. So for my SEM 48 family, normally when we go on our visits, we would all converge from the center. We'd normally get 2-3 buses. One waits here on the island, and then one somewhere in Ikoyi, and then one on the mainland. Then we drive down. And it's a wonderful journey that we take. We enjoy ourselves, we talk and all that. So unfortunately, we won't be able to do this for COVID. So, but what we've been able to do is that we do have pictures of the factory. We've been to the factory. We have short video clips, which my colleagues will send, because if we try and play them on Zoom, it might affect some people's internet. Colette, did you want us to show this now or later, before we jump straight to the conversation? So at least they have an idea of the fact of where they're visiting.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is for you to show them the preview, then before we can now get into the program proper. So at least they can have a context.
Okay, let me go ahead and show it.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, so this one I'm going to hand over to the founder of the factory that we just looked at. The video links have been put in your WhatsApp group, so we can go and look at channels and other TV organizations and organizations have done so many documentaries and videos on this wonderful company. So we put a few of those video clips in your WhatsApp group so that you can actually look at it. We didn't want to draw too much of your data, so we could enjoy this virtual visit today. So it's my pleasure now to hand over to the founder of Beloxxi Biscuit, Obi Ezeude, who will be telling us a little bit more about how this business started, why he ventured into it, and then we can also ask him questions on the journey so far. Uncle Obi, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you, everybody in class SEM 48, right? I hope I'm correct.
Yes.
Okay, like the introduction, please say that my name is Obi Ezeude. I'm the founder, president, and CEO of Beloxxi Industries. Beloxxi started as a trading company in 1994 that specialized in the importation and distribution of biscuits, particularly crackers from Malaysia under the brand name Watai Cream Crackers. So between 1994 and the year 2003, we were essentially a trading company. In March of 2003, the then president of Nigeria, President Olusegun Obasanjo, banned the importation of biscuits and other confectionaries into Nigeria. Now, with that ban, it became very imperative that we have to just domesticate what we do in Nigeria. So we made a strategic decision to pivot from trading into manufacturing. So to start that journey, of course, it's not a very, very easy transition. We spent 2 years trying to plan from 2003 to that 2005. In the process, we went to all the banks in Nigeria. Of course, they will tell you they don't support startups. Eventually, we didn't give up. We approached the US Exim Bank that was kind enough to finance the equipment for $2.2 million. With that finance, that was the first hurdle. Now, the second hurdle became, where do we put the machines? Of course, we approached the banks again because the answer was obvious. They said no. So what we did was very simple. We looked for a very, very old and abandoned warehouse at Ikeja, Agidingbe Road, precisely. We took over the warehouse, signed a long-term lease, and renovated it from scratch. And then we were able to fix our machine. Now, after crossing that second hurdle, the next one was working capital. Of course, at that time, we have exhausted almost all the money we started with. Of course, all the banks again said no, that they have no money, they don't do startups. But we are so lucky, EcoBank listened to our argument and was able to give us a multiple credit facility to start the production. So in October of 2005, we were able to commence the production of Beloxxi cream crackers. Everybody I spoke to at that time told me that it's impossible for me to compete. They have Lebanese, they have Indians, and they have all kinds of people. But we believed in ourselves, we've been in trading, and we had no choice. So in 2005, late, we launched the product into the market. It was a very, very delicate maneuver because everybody thought that we would not succeed. But we took our, story to the Nigerian consumers, making sure that we had the quality we needed and the right pricing. And then, of course, the product was roundly accepted by consumers. And then the big journey started. In less than 3 months, it overran the little capacity we had. That was being only just 4,000 or 5,000 cartons a day. By 2007, it became very clear to us that we can no longer meet the demand. People have to wait for months to get product. So we now launched the full-scale strategy of building a greenfield factory in Agbara, Ogun State. Of course, it was another difficult round of many. We were using our internally generated funds. We approached a lot of banks, the same story, but Nigerian Export-Import Bank, Nexum, believed in what we are doing, believed that we have a future, and committed $3 million to the process. So we continue building. At the end of the construction, Skybank came in and gave us, a huge amount of money, 1.2 billion to Naira then to be able to complete the project and then install the first line we installed in the factory. And we continue production. And then we're able to supply enough from 4,000 cartons a day to about 18,000 cartons a day, which was a lot of jump. So then we were able to start expanding our network from southwest, southeast, south, middle belt. Now that was all we could do. Then the pressure on the demand because of the quality continued. So we have to keep on expanding. We look for money again, got Fidelity Bank to finance another line for us. So we got our second line that completed the first phase of the factory. By 2012, it became obvious again that the demand is still very high. So we went on the second phase to build, to expand the facility. So in the second phase, we added 3 lines, bringing our capacity to about 6 lines altogether. So we completed the second phase in 2012. We found out that we still cannot meet demand in crackers. So by 2015, the leveraging has become so much. We have built enormous capacity, we built enormous presence in the market, that we felt that borrowing more would be a problem. So what we did was to do a sort of international equity transaction that was led by German Development Bank, that we raised about $80 million for minority stake in our company by a consortium led by DEG, German Development Bank. We raised $80 million. With that, we were able to pay off all our local debts and then went into the third phase of our expansion that will require us to go from 6 lines to about 9 lines. Now, if you check it in terms of capacity, we have moved from 4,000 cartons a day when we started in 2003 to about 50, 60,000 cartons a day now. And we move our capacity from 3,000 metric tons a year to about 50, 60,000 metric tons a year right now. So at this level, we moved from 300 staff 2003 to about 3,750 young people working for us. So that is where we are right now in Beloxxi at this level before the COVID came in. Now we are still holding on to all the lines we have ordered to be able to get our capacity to about 80,000 metric tons a year. We still intend to do that after the COVID. So that is where we are right now. That's a short story of what we do in Beloxxi.
Thank you very much, Uncle Obi, for that very interesting story, and very inspiring as well. I remember the white eye biscuits there that you started with importing. I used to buy that a lot. And I have a lot of questions, but I'm not going to jump into the question today. It's not about me, it's about Babatunde and Hassan then. Okay, so guys, I know you must have some questions for him. A lot of us have eaten this biscuit, especially when we come to the office. It's what we serve with our mass tea around 8 to 8:30. So you've had the pleasure of enjoying that product, and now we have the founder with us. Okay, so just so that we're orderly, you can put your hands up and then caller to unmute the mic so we can ask the questions. So you can just do by show of hands, those that have questions. You know how to put the hands up using the Zoom facility?
I think the best thing is for them to unmute everybody. I'll take questions from maybe about 3 people, and then when I answer that, then they can continue. Why I always make my story very brief is that if you talk so much, you get lost
Yeah.
in the question. So that I always like them to ask questions. In the process, I'll be able to go back and then explain more to them.
More to them.
So I always like them to ask questions that agitate their mind, so that I can be able to try and, as much as possible, to address the questions. So they can go ahead and maybe after 3 questions, I will answer those ones, and then other people can follow.
Okay, so Christina's hand is up. We can quickly unmute Christina's hand. Call it, unmute her mic, sorry, so she can ask her question.
Okay, good morning.
Good morning, Christiana.
Yeah, good morning. So quick one. How has this pandemic affected this company, or in any way, or has it not? That's my question. Thank you.
What's the question again, please? I didn't hear you.
So the pandemic of a thing that's happened just in a few months, how has it affected the business, in the Beloxxi business? Has it affected the business at all in any way?
So she's asking about COVID situation and the pandemic, if it has affected, and if it has, in what way has it affected, and what have you done to mitigate that? Okay. Any other hands up? Colette, are you checking as well?
Yes, I am.
All right. Uncle, I think we can just talk about that, but just so that I can expand that question a bit, I wanted to talk more about business continuity. What I found out is that with COVID, a lot of businesses have never thought about business continuity, but it's something that we must take into consideration. Yours is a very unique story because you first started by importing the product and selling it, and then it was banned, and then you went into manufacturing. And a lot of people face that same situation. So, but you've been able to, with each tide of policies that come, you seem to be able to survive. So I want you, in addition to what Christina talked about COVID, to also speak a little bit more around business continuity and what your business continuity plan is like.
Okay, thank you. Well, one of the biggest attributes of a very good entrepreneur is your ability to adjust and adapt to changing environment. Because every society on its own is very dynamic. And as much as we try to mitigate our risks, you also have to worry about uncertainty. COVID in itself is a crazy, uncertain situation. Nobody ever anticipated that will ground the entire world completely. What we have done in Beloxxi, when I started Beloxxi, is to make sure that every step we take in the processes and procedure we adopt in Beloxxi is world-class standard. There's nothing like Nigeria in what we do. Because if you have a proper standard and you do things properly, in time of uncertainty, okay, it's easy to adapt. Now, in Beloxxi, our HSC is very, very strong in terms of hygiene and cleanliness. When COVID first started, the first thing we did, when it broke out in China, because of the level of foreign investors we have levels of our HSC compliant. Our level 1 is very low. So when the problem started in China, okay, we went into a very, very serious thinking about what could happen because we are into food, okay? We raised our level again to level 1, caution. Listening to WHO, what are they saying? What are the signs? Yes, no index cases in Nigeria. If it happens, what do we do? So we started immediately checking temperature, hand sanitization, making sure that all our staff understand the importance of being very cautious. That was the first step we took. By the time the thing started exploding to Europe and every other part of the world, we went to level 2. Level 2 meant that we banned all kinds of visitors to our facility. Okay? And every staff must communicate with all the external vendors and suppliers by telephone, email, or WhatsApp, or whatever. Nobody enters our factory. By the time the index case was finally and eventually identified in Nigeria, it became now serious threat. What we now did was to make sure that we begin to listen to WHO, listen to the local authorities. What are they saying? What are the consequences of each action that we take every day? And we started our mitigation process. If you don't have any business coming to our factory, you will not enter. We only allow goods, people that supply us raw material, and we only allow people that evacuate raw material. If you're a driver, you come at the gate, you park your vehicle, you have to check your temperature before even you enter our compound. If it's above 27.5, you don't enter at all. Now, after that, you come in, you wash your hands, we give you sanitization, okay? That is number one. Now, we had to install what we call decontamination unit at the gate. You have to pass through that so that if there's anything, within your body, at least that one is removed, okay? Why do we do that? Because Beloxxi presents a very big public health issue because of the volume of products we make. That's number one. Now, once we're able to make sure that we contain our environment and is in control of our environment, the next question becomes, what is the effect of this pandemic to our business? Luckily, the government classified us as essential product because we're in food. That is number one, which means we can produce. But the point is that even if we produce, how do we ensure that our staff come safely with all the lockdown? Okay, we have to now go into hiring bosses to pick each staff individually to make sure that they are able to come to work safely and be able to go home safely. In terms of capacity, the effect, we have to reduce from 7 lines to only 2 lines because we are much more interested in preserving our most critical assets, which is our staff. If my staff is not healthy, then there is no business. So that was the first effect. We have to slow down everything we are doing to a manageable level. Of course, with that, the capacity dropped considerably to about 30–40%. That's number one. Now, the effect on revenue was high, but that wasn't even the issue. The point is that we want to be sure that we are safe because only somebody who is alive that will be able to produce and make money. If I lose somebody in my office, then it becomes a big problem because you can't get anybody to come and work. And at the end of the day, business dies completely. So all those risks and uncertainty were clearly identified. So we now focus on the fact that the most critical element of this thing is our health and safety. That was the first one. Now, the economic impact is enormous. Everybody is still calculating. Nobody can say precisely what is the impact. The impact is heavy on business. But we are lucky we're able to survive, we're able to produce, and then as the lockdown is opening up, we are able to open up and join the business, making sure that we are clearly protected. So in a short analysis, the effect is 3 types, or 3 tripod. One is the economic effect, which is loss of revenue. The second one is the security implication of it, which is you have to deal with security agencies and all the rules to be able to comply. That is the second one. And then the final one is the health. Because it's only somebody who is alive that can produce and run a business. If you're dead, you're dead at the end of the business. So that is the effect of the COVID. 3 effects. Economic, we lost a lot of money. Health, we have to be sure that our staff is protected, and that's cost a lot of money. The third one is security challenge, which is how do we navigate all the security apparatus of the country and make sure that products are still moving. So overall, the impact is heavy. But what is more critical is that we are still alive to talk about it. And if we go through it and survive and we don't lose anybody, then business can, of course, over time, recover all the lost ground. So that is, I think, the effect we've seen so far in COVID is still unfolding. Nobody can say that this is the final effect because we are not yet out of the woods. But until then, on the interim, this is the effect. Now, the mitigation part of it is what I've explained earlier. The mitigation part of it is just health. What are we doing to make sure our people are protected? Of course, apart from the hygiene, apart from the equipment we've installed, we fumigate our offices and factory every day at the end of each shift, and we fumigate every month. We used to do this 3 times in a year, but now it's every month to make sure that we have a sterile environment to produce. Now, that is the mitigation part of it. So at the end of the day, what we just see is a fluid and dynamic situation which we try to adjust every day. So the mitigation is not complete, it is not absolute, it is still ongoing. That is my little explanation for the first question. Now, on the business continuity, of Beloxxi, I've always said to people that as an entrepreneur, I see myself as a teacher. Okay, and then the philosophy that really motivate and drive Beloxxi is the fact that all my staff are very, very young people. Some of them that started with me from inception are still here. And they are the people that run Beloxxi. My own is to provide strategic direction, guidance, and advice. Okay? The young people that work with me are very, very competent in the sense that any of them, okay, in the absence of me tomorrow, can step into the shoe and run the business because everything we do is templated. Okay, the rules are the rules. The operational procedure are the operational procedure. Just like what in line with the ISO certification that we have. So whether I'm in the office or not in the office, Beloxxi continues to work. However, that is the basic one. On the continuity part of it, the second part of it was when we made the strategic decision in 2015 to open up our business to international investors. That is the first step we took towards that continuity, so that we can benchmark what we have always done on the world scale and see whether we are doing it very well. Of course, you know that the Germans are one of the best in terms of manufacturing processes. And for them to agree to invest in Beloxxi means we are doing things right. So with that sort of investment and opening up our business to other participants, it means that we are thinking about continuity already so that the business can outlive me. Now, on the third tranche of this continuity process is that it is our hope and belief that one day Beloxxi will become a public company so that all Nigerians can buy our shares and all our books will be open, whether I'm there or not tomorrow, the institution will continue to run. In Beloxxi, we are not trying to build strong personality or a cult following around me. Yes, I'm the founder, but we are more interested in building an institution that is governed by principle, vision, and philosophy, and of course, our value system. So that is, to me, the best way to ensure continuity. I have a lot of young people that work for me. Everybody knows their role. We are not so fixated in this hierarchical title. Yes, we have head of department, we have all our job functions and responsibility. But what is critical is that we have set of rules that are codified and templated. And everybody, including myself, is subjected to that rule. so that whether I'm there or not, the institution works. So that is, to me, the best community you can put in place. Because if you begin to foist an institution around a personality, I mean, nobody's going to live forever. And it becomes a massive risk for the institution if anything happens. For instance, in 2011, I was attacked by armed robbers, and I was not at work for 6 months. And the company was running by the same young people that have been working with me all these years. Sometimes since March of this year, when the COVID started, I've only been to the factory once. But every day the place works. So to me, that is the sustainability we are talking about. It is not when you say that, okay, you have the CEO, you have the deputy MD, you have this, you have this. These are beautiful. These are good nomenclature. But from an entrepreneurial point of view, the thing is that, is this institution working? That if one person is sick, nobody feels the problem and everything moves smoothly. I think that is what is more important in terms of continuity, in my view. So I don't know what other people think. So I think that's my explanation for business continuity.
For business continuity. Okay, yeah. Thank you so much. And that's very interesting. There's something you said when you were talking about, when we said about business continuity, where you mentioned that you have a lot of your staff that have been there from inception. And Beloxxi, the factory now is how old? How many years is the factory?
Well, the factory started in 2005 operation. So
okay, so 15 years. Yes, so you have some talent that have been there for a decade and a half.
Yes.
That's amazing, because I think for a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we find it very challenging. I won't even say retaining, but even just recruiting the right type of talent. And then by the time we've recruited them, getting them to stay seems to be a challenge. So what is the formula? What is the magic that you have done? Because I've been to your factory before. And I followed the brand, and it's doing so well. There's some magic you have. I remember when we visited the factory some years back, I think maybe it was the supervisor, the floor supervisor. He had just come back from doing his master's or something in the UK. And you talked about how when they come, there's a path for them, and how you train them. Once they get admission to the best schools, that the organization is fully behind them and all that. So what's the formula? How are you able to do this? How do you get this type of people that stay, that want to develop themselves, they want to give the best of themselves? Because I think for most of us here, it's a challenge that we've had. So at least we can learn something around talent management.
Yes. One of the things that keep us alive is hope. Most of us that are very religious, if there's no preaching from pastors that if you die, you go to heaven, I bet you on Sundays, most people will not go to church or even pray, okay? What I've tried to do when I started Beloxxi, that I asked myself a very good question. Why am I doing this? Okay? Entrepreneurship and talent we have is what we hold in trust for God and humanity. And in doing an entrepreneurial work, you have to develop very good empathy for people that work for you, okay? And that starts from the recruitment process. When I started Beloxxi, I noticed that most of the young, fresh graduates in this country barely get a job because they don't know anybody. And I told the consultant I called to help me that I don't believe in such theories. Maybe because of my training in the United States. I believe that every young Nigerian is endowed with a special talent. And our job is to discover those talents, polish it, and allow them to flourish in their talent. So what I did in Beloxxi is to recruit very young people. And to me, I don't bother about title or who greets me in the morning or who doesn't greet me. I make sure that the environment is so accommodating, so pleasant, and so free for them to express themselves open and free, no intimidation of any type. That is the first thing. And when I recruit people, it is based on pure merit. We have our protocol for recruiting people. You go through the process, you submit your CV, we interview you. All my people are involved in that interview. During the interview, I have only one vote. If we say yes, we take. If we say no, nobody is taken. Nobody that's related to me works for me. Okay? These are the basic principles. My friends know that I don't do favoritism in my employment, because you can't want excellence without merit. That is number one principle. And once that was established, it became the core value of the company, and everybody keyed into that. That is number one. Number two, I try to put myself in the position of these young people. What is really their aspiration in life? If I'm in their shoes, what do I want? I want a good environment to work. I want to be paid. I want to succeed or fail on my own talent, not where I come from or who my father is or the religion I belong to. In Beloxxi, I don't have favorites. I don't believe in cronyism and nepotism. You don't have to greet me. Go and do your job. That is one. Number two is that I try as much as possible to treat my staff very, very well. I don't have a secretary in my office. I don't have a PA. My office is open. You can come to talk to me. We discuss issues, bow to superior logic. That's number one. So the culture and environment I created is the secret for my retention. If you want to answer, if you want the answer to be that way, that's the secret. Now, number two is the way we recruit our people, particularly the factory staff. You see, I don't have a casual worker in Beloxxi. All my factory workers are staff of Beloxxi. People come to me and say that, scrub contract. I said, no, I don't do that. These kids never chose where they were born. It could have been me or you. So it is my duty to bring them in here and make sure that they flourish and function. And once we hire you, I always tell them that factory work is not a profession. They must make irreversible commitment to go to school. And that brings me to the question you asked, how do I retain them? Now, most of them, their parents don't even have money to buy them JAM form. During the JAM season, we buy forms. GCE, if you don't have your papers, we pay. If you pass and do everything in JAM, we don't give anybody bribe, we will pay your school fees and allow your salary to still come to you. However, during holidays, you must come to work and we must see your result. If you stop passing and we don't see your result, we'll stop you, we'll sack you. That's how we retain good people. Most of them have graduated and they all started working for Beloxxi. Now, when we were building Ambara, I used to have some expatriates working for me. One of my key staff, who is now the production manager, we sent him to the UK to go and do masters. So by the time he came back, we have finished building the factory. And I looked at him and I told him that the destiny of this country lies on the square shoulders of young people. This country can only develop or sink depending on what we do. And I told him that if I have to hire a white man to supervise you, I will sack you. You go and make sure you work with your colleagues, build a good team to do the work. And that is what we have done. Of course, there are a lot of things we have done to mitigate a whole lot of problems. In the factory, I created a clinic from start. It's part of my design. I feed my staff free. They don't pay for food. We have staff boss. If you're sick, we send you to the best hospital, depending on the type of illness. And the company pays. You know, whether you're factory worker or anything, it doesn't matter to us. And then the beauty of it is that as you're treating one person, other people are seeing it. And every human being likes to be treated well and appreciated. So that is basically what we do. So it is the culture and value that we created that helped us in the retention thing that people see. Now, the other part of this thing is that we also try to motivate our staff to understand that this institution belongs to all of us. Okay? And then you do things that will make them know that, look, we are in this thing together. Most of them that graduate and things like that, we buy vehicles, give them, it belongs to them, we don't fuel. After 5 years, you take. So that they can come to work and feel that, no, this is an institution that I belong to. Now that is that. Even before the pension plan started, we instituted our own pension plan managed by Stanbic IBTC in line with the best practices. We have all manners of insurance, workman compensation, health insurance for everybody, irrespective of whether you're a factory worker or no factory worker. So these are some of the things we try to do. If you're a staff of Beloxxi, nobody is paid cash. We open an account for you. We teach you how to manage your funds. We pay it to the bank. We bring, financial consultants to advise them on how to manage their money. We bring in, experts to talk to them about their health. So these are some of the things we try to do. We try to find the best, employee benefits that we can afford, and we make sure that it's available to our staff. So these are some of the things that help us to retain them. And then of course we have constant human capital development for them. They go to training on a regular basis. We use the best equipment available for us. And then we try to make sure that everything we are buying is in line with the best available in the market, so that they can work and have the tools to make sure that they do their work very well. So, doing all these things, a lot of them feel that, look, this is the place to stay. And that is why they are around. And then, of course, we have all kinds of mitigation things, if we have problems, how do we solve it, disciplinary committee, all those things, it's all stated there. And the rules are very clear. So I basically think that's why we have a lot of people that have worked with us that have continued to stay.
Wow, that's so impressive. And I think for me, why I'm really very impressed is the fact that more often than not, the lower level staff are the ones that we find more complaints about. So, but for you to be able to have kept them such that they come into your organization very young, fresh, novice, and today a lot of them are graduates and working there, is really very commendable. So what I got from that, and it's something that I teach in class, I always tell people that you can have the best strategy, but if you have a very bad culture, that culture will chew up the strategy for breakfast and spit it out. So culture is something that a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we don't pay a lot of emphasis to, but it's something that is very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay?
To amplify what you're saying, and I'll give you an example of these things. Some of the policies I put in place is always instigated by bad things I see and I want to correct. When we started the factory, of course, the normal thing, you had HR officer and things like that. What I discovered that shocked me was that we had the HR officer, very experienced and all those things, a lawyer and everything. And then when the factory workers come to apply, this lady was selling our forms. When they are paid, she likes to pay them cash, and they were doing shakedown, young kids from poor home. We had mobile police people in our facility. Some of them that are 17, 18-year-old, little young girls, were being auctioned off to police people for sex for money. I was livid. A young woman with all the credentials. I almost reported to NBA, but people begged me to please. I sacked all of them. Not one was left. Since then, I am the only one that interviews factory worker with my team. And most of the coordinators, because I have a lot of female workers, most of my coordinators are female. We sit and interview them. Because beyond money, it is our duty to protect these young kids who never chose where they were born. And then the person that reported this thing to me was an ex-mobile staff that retired, an old man that owns a filling station, that heard the way I treat my staff, that picked the information and called me. So because of that, we now cancel all those nonsense. You come to our gate, fill form, we stamp it and number it. When we need staff, we call from 1 to 100. If we need more, we call from 101 to 200. So people, all the kids know that they can come and apply for a job. You don't need to know anybody. And then once we interview you and you fit what we want, we'll take you. We will try to make sure that if you're a young child, you just finished school, you must tell us what you want to do. You must live with your parents or a guardian or somebody who is related to you. We don't employ this professional factory worker that roam around, all those things. We don't have pilfering. They eat as much biscuit as they want. We give them free food. So there is no reason for them to steal. And they know that if you catch you stealing, you're gone. So these are the things that entrepreneurs feel that is not important, but it's absolutely necessary. Because if you don't build a good team, regardless of your vision, it will not come to fruition because you can't be there. I can't pack biscuits anymore. God has made it so. But I must make sure that I inspire them and motivate them to pack that biscuit with all the passion they can muster. And that is what is critical in entrepreneurship. If you do things right, you will make money. And then the most critical asset you have is not the cash or not the idea. It is the staff you have, your human capital. Because if they execute flawlessly, then your expansion and reach makes sense. For instance, if you're running a pharmacy shop and you want to have 10 outlets, where are the people to run it? But if you have a core group of people that you have groomed very well, understand the ideal, if you open one and send one of them there, they understand the rule, they understand the philosophy, they understand the value, the place will flourish. From there, you can expand and expand. And when you look around, you find out that, look, this is good. So that is the takeaway I want some of them to understand. And most people always think that, entrepreneurship means money. I don't care, whether my staff is sick, they must come to work. Or if they don't come to work because they are sick, you don't have to pay them. We don't do that. If you're sick and you went to hospital, and we know you actually went to hospital, referred to by our clinics and things like that, you get your money. Because if you don't do that, other people will hear. And then what are you telling them? That you don't care about them, that you can treat them anyhow, and then that same way, when they come to work, they do anyhow. If you install a expensive machine, they will destroy it because they have no stake. So that is the point I wanted to to emphasize.
That's so interesting, and it's really very shocking that somebody that was so privileged, that had all that, could still descend so low to do that. And by that action that you took, I think you sent a very clear warning to all of them. That's so interesting. There are some questions here. Ifeoma Okoye wants to know about your starting up, the challenges that you faced starting, and some of the criticism that you faced, moving from, importing to actually setting up the factory. Then Eso Sadelaja wanted to know how young. Well, I think you sort of mentioned that you said, 17, 18. So I think she wants to know how Eso Sadelaja, how young they are. And then Akintola Kehinde, Christina again, is asking about how to thrive in a competitive market. Okay, so these are some of the questions there. But before those questions, Akawo Ekpa has his hand up. I'm going to unmute you to ask your question, or you can unmute yourself. Or Colette, can you kindly unmute him so that he can ask his question? Okay, you can unmute and ask your question. Go ahead, ask your question. Colette, can you unmute him?
Yes, I'm trying to. I think he's muting as I'm unmuting. So let him unmute it.
Okay.
So,
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, my name is Akwao. I just want to ask one question. In an economy like Nigeria, when power is a big issue, I found out that most industries, no matter how small, they thrive very well with power. They spend so much money on power and all that. So how have you managed to overcome these difficulties with power and all that in an economy like Nigeria over the years?
Okay, so thank you for that. So Nkrubi, you take those questions, including the ones about thriving in competitive market, challenges and criticism.
Okay. I remember that in 2010, when the then President Jonathan came to inaugurate my factory, I did mention to him in one of my speech that no foreigner, no matter how benevolent, will develop Nigeria for us. And I did mention to him that my job as an entrepreneur is a very simple one, is to take young, ordinary Nigerians and make them extraordinary Nigerians. Those are the two critical information or message I left with him. People will always tell you that you cannot do anything, particularly if you're an entrepreneur. But my late dad also told me that impossibilities in business are possibilities that have not been tried. Okay? When I wanted to go into manufacturing from children, of course, I heard the normal story. You don't have any experience. You cannot be able to do it. The environment is too hostile. All this kind of thing they were saying. And I now asked some questions. I said, is this thing nuclear science? Am I going to produce nuclear armament? Is it not biscuits that I've been trading on? And of course, people will say all kinds of things. They will tell me the challenging environment, the Lebanese and Indians that are there, that you can't succeed because we have inferiority complex in our country. But the way, I feel in entrepreneurship is that it is a long, lonely road. The vision you see is between you and your God. And what you need to do is develop the will and passion and focus on what you want to do. So the challenges we faced was enormous. But our job is to surmount obstacle. The banks refused to give us money. I didn't give up. I went offshore, I got the money. They refused to give me working capital or to build a new factory. I kept on pushing until somebody listening to me. All you simply have to do is to make sure you articulate what you want to do beyond just physical numbers, you're talking about. You must also articulate the philosophy behind your idea and what you want to achieve. One of the things that was very paramount to me was that I want to make the best biscuits for Nigerian children, who are actually my target audience. So I wasn't interested in what anybody was saying, because most of them never even manufactured biscuits, talk less trading on it. So people, kept on saying all kinds of things they were saying. I wasn't interested. I remember a banker asked me who are my competitors. I told them I don't have one. They thought I was mad, because I've surveyed all they have in the market, and they weren't decide what they want. But I know that if I do the best quality I can, that I will succeed. And that was clear in my mind. And with that, I was not interested in all their criticisms. They can say whatever they want to say. Because they have consigned our country to a situation where nobody can do anything except when you're Lebanese or Indian or you're a white man. That's all. But of course, you know that if I come to your village and know the village more than you, then you're not from there. If anybody can defeat us in Nigeria and kill us here, then we are completely gone. So that was basically my own view about the criticisms, and most of them I really brushed aside and I wasn't interested. And I went ahead to do what I wanted to do. And then thank God we succeeded. And then most of them that told me that those things are not possible are now most of them are our biggest fans. So, but that's where life is. Entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. All people see is the success. But whatever challenges and obstacles and impediments you face, it should bring out the best in your creativity, talent. And then you must always strive to be sure that you don't take no as an answer. So that is basically my own response to criticism. So there are too many of them to mention. But at the end of the day, I knew they were wrong and I was right in my thinking. So today, the jury is still out. Most of them are, know that they were all talking trash. But that's a story for another day. Now, on the age, somebody asked a question about the age. Is that correct?
Yes, how young are they really? And I'm wondering whether that question is coming as a result of wanting to know whether we're breaching any labor law. I'm not sure.
No. We're not breaching any labor law, because once we only take kids that are 17 but will turn 18 in that year. Okay, that is basically what we do. Okay, and then what we try to do is that to be sure that our legal department, we are in tune with the labor laws and we don't violate any of these laws. Once they are 17 and approaching 18, we are allowed to employ them. Now, the reason why we do that is that if you catch them that young, that is when you can motivate them. That is when they are easily trainable. And that is where we influence them to go to school and study whatever they want to study. I remember that one of the young girls that I employed then from Benue State, after working for me for 6 months, she came and filled the paper in the reception that she wanted to send me. I said, of course, she can come. So she came. She says, I wanted to ask for a favor. I said, what favor? She said that she wanted to go to school. I said, why? I said, why not? What's the problem? She said that the mom and the dad doesn't have money to even buy a jam form. I said, how much is jam form? She told me, I said that, please wait. Just go and put down your name. We're going to compile names of people that want to go to school, and then we'll pay for the jam form. why we do that is that anybody that makes up their mind to come and put their name down there means that they are serious. We pay for the jam form. She passed, went to Ahmadu Bello, did molecular biology.
Wow.
She made a 2-1.
Wow.
And then Brunel University in the UK gave her a scholarship because that was at the emerging time of HIV and it's a new major. And I asked her, why do you want to do molecular biology? Never heard about that. She said, sir, that's a new emerging area. Very young girl, sharp. She went to Brunel, full scholarship based on her performance in Ahmadu Bello. They were looking for young Africans that want to study that area. And she was given scholarship. She made a distinction. And they gave her PhD, they gave her scholarship to do PhD. The job the young girl did on HIV/AIDS, because she's from Benue, very prevalent there, defended the thesis in Brunel and passed. Today, after the defense, Oxford University hired her, and she's an Oxford scholar. The day she put it on her WhatsApp, that from selling biscuit on the streets of Nigeria, selling Beloxxi cream crackers, to an Oxford scholar, and was thanking me, my phone went scattered. We have so many of them. We have engineers, we have pharmacists. Some of them are all over the world. They still get in touch with me. And to me, that is the only way we can serve humanity. So that is why getting them early and trying to see where their mind is and support them. I just told the parents that all I did was just a little push. That's all. You know, so, I mean, that opened our eyes to the possibilities. And that is why we focus more on those kids.
Those very
and
young
make sure
ones.
that we pick the best and brightest. And I tell them that every year when we do end of year party for them, I will tell them, look, factory work is not a profession. It is just a transit point for you to discover yourself. And my job is to make sure you understand that. If you work for me for 3-4 years and you're bright, I'll ask you, what is the big deal? Why are you still here? So you can go up and go to school so that other young ones can come. Sometimes when ASU is on strike and you come to my factory, you see a lot of them. They don't need me. They just come and tell the production manager, we are back. If they have made the roster for the week, you see some of them joining the cleaning crew. Cleaning, you know, mopping the floor. These are undergraduates, and they enjoy it. So to me, that is my own little way of serving humanity. Not just us mounting it, going to seminar, say a lot of things, but we try to practicalize some of these things. And some of them have ended up in places like Etisalat. I remember some years back, one of the guys that is one of their top engineers, I don't remember a lot of them, they touched my phone. And when I complained bitterly, you know, the guy was a supervisor for a Ikeja place. And when the guy saw Beloxxi, he almost sacked everybody there. I had to restrain him. Say, please, just a mistake, leave them. And he personally came to my office with all of them to apologize. But you see, these are the benefits of this thing. I don't remember this guy. I was given, I won EY award for Nigeria and West Africa for Emerging Entrepreneur. One of the managers walked up to me with the partner to come and thank me. She reminded me that I personally answered the questionnaire for her research project when she was working in my factory. I said, I don't remember anymore. That all of you have all grown and things like that. And so this is things I hear every day. And I asked, what do you do for EY? I said that she's now a manager. I said, beautiful. The partner was thanking me on her behalf. I said, no. She must be very bright. And I take liberty in doing these things for them. You know, if they're doing project, they come to question me. And I answer. I said, because this is the best I can do for them. So this is why we pick that age. Because to me, we need to draw a line and begin to groom young people for future generation. We can't just keep on blaming government and anything. Entrepreneurs are the ones that create society by our own action, by our own investment, by our own vision. So I think that is
That's amazing. That is so amazing. You know, I mean, even just that story about the bandwagon, that is really amazing. And it makes sense to catch them when they're very young and one can actually mold them.
Yeah, their mind is still very open.
Yeah,
and,
very
you know,
open.
and at that time, and you see, all they need is somebody, just direction. You know, when people visit me in the factory and I'm taking them around, and the way I throw banters with them, and they always amazed how I know their names. I always laugh. I said that, look, you know, a general without troops is no general. You know, these are the real people. And, you know, in talking to them, I get feedback what's happening and what we can do to do it better. And you'll be so shocked. All of them have my phone numbers. If anything is going wrong, I be the first person to hear. And when I come to the supervisor, I won't tell you who told me. I will say, look at this, look at that. Some of them will say, oh, somebody is gossiping. I say, it's not gossip. If you're a leader, you must listen. Correct it if it's wrong. Look in that direction. When it's it's true. I say, that is that. If they want you to fail, they will allow you to make the mistakes. So don't worry about who told me. The important thing is that we are doing the right thing. Our job is to flood this place with good people so that it will be easy to manage the few deviants. But if you begin to look for who told me and who didn't do this, nobody would. They will allow you to fail.
That's so true.
It goes.
And
that's one beautiful thing about young people. You know, their mind is still open, their mind is still beautiful. If you mold it properly, you can't imagine the potential and the force that comes with their talent. And that's what I enjoy about what I do.
Okay. So now this brings me to the next question. When we talk about the type of talent that you have. So from your recruitment, from the culture, from the environment, I'm hearing you say that even if they didn't want to, they have no choice other than to be excellent in everything they do. Ifeoma again is still asking, she wants to know how you have managed to maintain this standard and quality and all this while Desmond is saying that what are your personal financial disciplines and financial structures that you put in place from beginning? And then, okay. Oh yes, and then some people are already asking to be mentored by you, Uncle Obi.
No, we'll talk about mentoring later, but let's finish the question.
Okay, all right, so those are the questions.
You know, an entrepreneur, okay? An entrepreneur is somebody who is very humble, somebody who is very polite, somebody who listens. You see, arrogance, egomaniac tendencies are not part of entrepreneurship. You can learn from anybody. Once you have that, it means that you're very disciplined as a person. Okay? My finance and accounts department is so empowered that I am on what they call allowance. Okay? I don't dip my hands into the money we use in running the institution. It will fail. What happens to entrepreneurs is that once they make money, they start spending, buying cars, doing this, doing that. It doesn't work that way. If the business is starved of funds because of your profligacy and the spendomania kind of tendencies, the whole thing was bound to crash. But if you are putting the money back and you take a little percentage of that profit within reason for your own, then the institution will survive because that is where you make your living. But some people feel that, oh, the money is there for spending. They can take it. No, it doesn't work that way. So that is the discipline. You must reinforce your internal controls and finance people and make sure that you're subjected to the rules. If you take money above your allowance, then when you are paid, or when you make money, you return that money. Because if you take it for unproductive purposes, the leakage is there. Economics tells us that. And gradually, slowly, the whole thing will come to a halt. And that's the way it works. It's a normal, natural law of economics. Nothing more, nothing less. So it's not the discipline. An entrepreneur will be self-disciplined. Don't do things you don't need. Only do things that you need, not what you want. That is the only way. Otherwise, you begin to kill even the business itself by your spending. So that is my answer to that. There was a question on competition. I don't know. Is that still on the table?
Yes, how to thrive with competition and then how you've maintained your quality all this time. So I think that was a question from, let me get the exact question. Okay, how do you maintain quality and standard? How have you managed to maintain? Because for some business, some biscuits, you start eating, after a while, there is inconsistency with the taste and the quality. But the question Ifeoma is asking is that all this while, it's been the same quality and standard. How have you been able to do that?
Okay, I will answer you this question by telling you a story, how I started of this team. You see, one of the biggest thing that most people always think about in entrepreneurship is money. They calculate, do all their projections, and first of all, think how much money they are going to make and things like that. What sustains product or services is the quality you deliver to your consumers. And these are the people why we're in business. When I started Beloxxi, I made sure that I sourced the best ingredient to be able to make my product. And most of these ingredients are sourced from world global suppliers that have unique, consistent, and constant standard. Okay? I worked closely with flour mill, okay, because biscuit is almost 85%, 90% flour. I worked with them until I forced flour mill to give me a special blend. The ingredients I use, like my beta carotene, I buy from DSM of Switzerland, which is #1 in the whole world. The skim milk I use, I buy from Oldenburger of Germany, which is the oldest, in Germany. My glucose comes from Cargill, also in Germany, but it's the American company. These are just few examples. And once you make up your mind that you have to do the thing very well, and quality is that, and you establish your standard, and there's no deviation, I mean, you have to maintain it, and you codify it. Secondly, I have a very strong QC, QA department. And this is where I will have to be a little bit chauvinistic. Most of my QA, QC are mostly females that started working with me. And they have total authority in our manufacturing to stop production once a batch is off spec. And they report only to me, not even the production manager. The production manager cannot overrule them. The only person that can overrule them is me. And our template is clear. They are in control of our raw materials. We don't do third-party raw material supplies in Beloxxi at all. Everything we buy as much as possible from the direct manufacturers. No supplier comes to my factory to say they want to pick a check. It doesn't happen. You leave your name, bank details, and letter mandate signed by the managing director, the director level in that company. We pay you. You can't give my staff bribe. If you induce them, we cancel it. These are the checks, because the moment you start buying substandard raw material because of this useless supplies, the product goes down. It's just like a woman that cooks. If your husband gives you money to make stew and you go and buy rotten tomato, would that stew taste good? It won't. So from our raw material, we are very stringent. People come to me that my people don't want them, they don't like them. I say, you're talking story. We have our templates. I'll ask them, what is the issue? They failed our test. That is the end of the story. Now, that is number one. Number two, if you notice in one of the tape, you will see that the machine we use is from Emafoni of Italy. Emafoni is the Rolls Royce of the biscuit manufacturing equipment in the whole world, particularly crackers. If you go to Kraft in America, if you go to McVitie's in the UK or whatever they have all over the world, it's the same thing. The Rolls Royce of the biscuit industry. So if you have the proper ingredients and the proper equipment, and you have the personnel to make sure that all those parameters are monitored, that will most of the time equal to consistent and constant quality, and that's what we try to do. So these areas are completely no-go area in terms of compromise. It is better for us that consumers say that Beloxxi is expensive and good than to say that Beloxxi is expensive and bad. That is what we try to do. Okay, so these are things, an entrepreneur must make up his mind. So because we set all these parameters and I support and reinforce them, and they know that if you're a supplier and you go and complain to MD, they will say you go ahead. Because if you come and tell me that they didn't go, I have to talk to my staff. What are the issues? They tell me. What it bothers on our quality, I will tell them reject it outright. Because our responsibility is to the young Nigerians, particularly to make sure that what we give them is not only nutritious, it is healthy for them. That's all.
Okay.
That's what we try to do. Yes.
Okay, thank you so much.
There was a question on power.
Yes, and how the past situation, lights and all that. So maybe you want to answer that.
Yeah.
How you're managing, because it's a factory with all those machines.
Yes, I don't know, for some of you guys that are experts in economics, I'm a biscuit baker. In the lower levels economy, they say localization of industries. They'll tell you location, access to raw material, and all these kind of things. When I wanted to start Beloxxi, I asked a very basic question. Leventis used to do power generating equipment for factories. So I went to see the Greek guy that is in charge of their GM. And I asked the guy, because if you ask the right question, you get the right answer. And I said to him, I want to site my factory in Lagos. And everybody complained that power is a problem. What should I do? The guy now looked at me and said that it's interesting that I'm asking this question. Most Nigerians go to where they have cheap land and build and begin to walk backwards and complain. I said that I want to understand. The guy told me that please try as much as possible to make sure that you have your factory located where there is a gas pipeline. And I asked him why. I said, not only will you often use gas, I said, yes, I know, but you need also the gas for your power generation. I said, but I'm going to buy a diesel generator. He now told me that there is a technology by an American company called ultronic conversion, or in a layman's language, it's called a bifuel technology. That is not very expensive. That it will enable a diesel generator to use 70% of gas and 30% of diesel. That was 2003, 2004. I said, wow, I'm interested. I need to find out. So I bought the generator from them, bought the kit from them, they converted it. And that dropped my diesel consumption by almost 60%.
Wow.
If I buy a trailer of diesel, it lasts me for 2-3 months. Because once there is gas, my generator uses 70% gas and 30% diesel. So I was only using the NEPA in my admin block. So my factory runs 24 hours outside NEPA. I don't use NEPA. When I moved to Agbara, I even put a bigger one. I generate my own power. Now I generate 1.5 megawatts of electricity. I don't run on NEPA in my factory at all. Now, I want to take this thing a little bit further. If you watch Coca-Cola, Nigerian Brewery, all these big multinationals, how come they don't complain about power? Because some of them have these ideas and they'll keep quiet. And they feed our people with this information that, oh, power is a problem. Of course, when this thing started in early 2003, and most of local manufacturers catch on to it, people like Dangote, Bua Group, nobody talks about power. All they want is gas, you know? So what I now, I'm saying to most entrepreneurs is that location of where you site your factory is very key. So you can take advantage of technology. The bigger companies are now installing massive gas generating power plants to power their own this thing and forget about NEPA. You can't run on NEPA with modern equipment. It will destroy your equipment because of their irregular supply and irregular currents they bring. So that is basically what has happened. And that's what I do. So I generate my own power, in my own facility, and I don't run on NEPA.
Wow.
I don't have anything to do with them.
Okay.
Because you can't run modern equipment there to destroy it.
To destroy it, yes. Okay, so the Leah is saying that we talked about culture earlier on. Of us who have started our business, and we hadn't thought about culture and all that, and probably we have a dysfunctional culture now. But how can we make it right? What do we do to change the culture to what we want? So Leah is asking that.
Well, something you talk about, something you have to do. You have to start by the kind of people you recruit. Most entrepreneurs feel that, oh, I have to bring my relation or somebody I trust, whether they are qualified or not. The only thing is that they are related to me, they will not steal. So they come from this perspective that everybody is a thief. And that is wrong. My own philosophy about building is made up of good and bad character. My job is to reinforce the good one so that they can be able to minimize and mitigate the bad aspect of that person. And you must learn to talk to people. You must learn to talk to your staff one-on-one and advise them properly. Of course, when it becomes impossible, then that person must go. The good ones that you have identified, it becomes a model. So you use them in doing your recruitment so that you have to be modeling them after those kind of character that you see. In Beloxxi, I have a lot of women working for me. It is not by design. It is what I see in the interview. Okay? And we go for the best. And when they are talking about all this CV, looking at all those things are important. But what is important is that when people are talking, you're not only listening to what they are selling you, but what they're not saying. You should ask questions that borders on character. You should ask questions that borders on honesty without coming and asking somebody, are you an honest person? Or no. You can create a scenario. You can ask questions that they won't make them know where you're going. Okay? And particularly I'll give you an example. There's a young girl we hired, very brilliant girl. So I now asked a very innocent question. where is your father and mother? You just say, they're in the village. How did you pay your school fees and were able to make this sort of grade? So that they toiled and suffered in the farm to make sure I'm able to graduate in school. And during the holidays, I helped them to go to the farm. Very touching. Now, what this thing tells you is that this person knows who he or she is. They are not afraid. They're not ashamed of who their parents are. But she's trying to make something good out of her life. That tells you that it's a pure character, beautiful character. Now we now have another person that comes in. And I ask the girl, what do your father do? My father is a civil servant. Where does he work? He doesn't know. Which ministry? You don't know. But he paid your school fees. Yes. So you don't even care to know where your father worked to get the money you used in paying your fees. Said yes, it's okay. What about your mother? She's a trader. What does she trade on? I don't know. Have you ever gone to the shop? No. I mean, it tells the question, it tells the story. It tells the story. So these are little things we can ask you to draw out who this person is. And then if you find people that are humble, people that are hardworking, people that are honest and trainable, if you just groom them and polish them, you have a massive fighting force. Because those people are predictable. All you need to do is to reinforce that good character, to blossom. That's all. And that's the work of an entrepreneur. It's not about ready-made. People try to look for long CV and all those things. That is beautiful. But you know that if you're starting as an entrepreneur, you have limited capital. So if you become top-heavy, the business at the gestation period cannot carry that weight. So most of them collapse under the heavy payroll or operating expenses, and it can't work. And that was why when I was starting Beloxxi, I knew all these things. And I studied this Midan report on why businesses fail. And I saw the pitfalls. And I know that it's more for me to be a teacher, to groom young people, and to go and bring people with all their bad habits and come and destroy the culture of the institution. And this show will have no soul other than just people trying to break the whole place into cleavages and push their own agenda and mission. And they run the whole place aground, thinking that they can go and start their own. And it doesn't work that way. So that's basically my own thoughts about culture and how you pick the right people.
Okay. So I don't think there are any more questions in the chat box. Colette, can you check? I know Ifeoma still had a question. I think the question around quality, and probably not, the way she phrased it is probably not what she wants to ask. So Colette, please, can you unmute Ifeoma Okoye so she can ask it herself? Or Ifeoma, you can unmute yourself and ask the question. Is Ifeoma still here?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate this.
So go ahead and ask a question.
Yes, I'm talking. Can you please hear me?
I can hear you. Come on, go ahead.
Okay, sir. I truly appreciate you, Mr. Obi. Talking about quality, you actually answered the question. Vision in what I do, because I'm into cake and confectionery, and one of my vision is to be known for taste and quality. That's why I asked that question. But there was something you talked about, not going through a third party. And that actually touched me because I have a problem. I've been looking for where to get the best. But as a small starter, you can't get directly because you can't buy in bulk. So please, I want to find out, how do you go about getting the best, even as a small starter, if I can't go directly to
Informa, is a very good question. You know, the big ones, even the small ones that make good ingredients, okay?
Yes, sir.
Which is what we call raw material. They have their distributor, accredited distributor, okay? So try and identify the people that are accredited to sell these things, and you start buying from them. It's always better. Okay, that will help you. And I'll give you a typical example. I use very little glucose in my biscuit production because I worry about diabetic patients. We use diamalt, we use beta carotene. These are natural sugar, and we use very little sugar for the color. You know that in baking, into cakes. Okay. I know that the best glucose in the world is Cerestar, made by Cargill of America. Their branch in Germany, in my little research, took me to Germany. I made inquiries. They now told me that people that make Chivita in Nigeria is their exclusive distributor in Nigeria. So I had to approach Chivita and tell Chivita that, look, this is what we want. We cannot buy direct because of your agreement with them, but we want you to supply us so that we are sure of what we are getting. They accepted. And then we buy from them. So indirectly, we are buying from the manufacturer because this is their only accredited distributor. So you have to do a little bit of research yourself. Once you identify if it's butter, if it's margarine, whatever you use in making your cake, even if it's raisins, which one is the best? I mean, Google is there. Google, they will tell you. And then go to those people. Don't feel that you're too small for them to listen to. Sometimes because you're a direct user, they will be more than happy to bend their rules and supply you because they know you're not reselling. So they're not going to destabilize their market in terms of pricing. So don't always sit and think that, oh, it's impossible, they won't sell to me. No, make inquiries. The worst that can happen is that they will say no. So if they say no, you say, okay, fine. Can you introduce me to your accredited distributor? So I can go there. Give me a note. Let me go and see the distributor. They will give you, because if they are product, they want to make sales. Yes, it's indirect. And then if you're buying from them, you keep your record. And as your business is expanding, you can make a case and you want to start buying direct. Because it's not going to disrupt the market with your volume, they will sell to you. It's as simple as that. So but don't compromise the quality of your product because you feel that they cannot sell to you and you go and buy the one that you can easily get. And then today your cake is good, tomorrow it goes down, it's not good. So try and make sure that you find the people, make that inquiry, and then they won't lead you to people that will give you exactly what you need.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So that's my own experience on that one. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your time. Colette is going to play, when we started, I think we had roughly 27 people. There are more people here. So for those of us that started joining after the introductions, we've been privileged to have had the founder of the Beloxxi biscuits that is very popular, sharing his journey so far. Before we started, we showed a slideshow of the factory, the way to the factory space, and Colette's going to be just showing that very. Thank you very much, Colette, for showing that. So thank you everybody for coming on this virtual visit with us. Uncle Obi, thank you very much. There's one last slide Colette didn't show, and that was a slide of a room filled with biscuits. So for all 48 participants, there are two, I think there are cartons of biscuits for every single one of us, and it's in the office. So whenever you're able
Two
to
cartons.
come.
Two cartons.
Wow. You guys are so lucky. So you have two cartons. I think you have a carton of the crackers and a carton of the malted milk waiting for you when you start coming for your classes or whenever you can send someone to come and pick it up. Okay? So just to wrap up, we've learned so much from the founder of Beloxxi Biscuits. And I mean, I've always known the story, but hearing it every time just reinforces so many things for me. But there's so many things, but I have used an acronym, CIRCLE, to put together most of the learnings that I got from this conversation. So it's called CIRCLE, so as in CIRCLE, so CIRCLE. So everything that he's talked about falls into this. So the first one is culture, and how it's very, very important to make sure that you build the right culture, irrespective of how much money you have, irrespective of the strategy that you have put in place. What is very important is to have the right type of culture in your organization. If not, your vision will not come to fruition. Now, the I is for institutionalizing. Everything he talked about that vision, turn it into an institution. And we can see the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is being a publicly quoted company where any Nigerian, everywhere, anywhere, wherever they are, can own a share of Beloxxi or own shares of Beloxxi. So it's important for us, as we're doing what we're doing, to keep thinking about making this dream, this business, turn it into an institution that outlives us. Now, the R, he focused a lot on this, and that's on recruitment, okay? And that's on talent. Recruiting the right type of people, remunerating them the right way, and retaining them the right way. So he recruits with intent to build tomorrow's leaders, which is very, very important. The C is constant communication. Every time you were talking on Chloe, I kept on hearing you say, oh, my staff, they'll tell me the door is open. And that breaks the myth, that shatters the image people have of entrepreneurs and owners. For us women, oh, someone must quickly come and carry your bag. Everybody is deferring to you, but they're allowed to. They know that they have very open, clear channel of communication with you, without fear, without favor. And that's very, very important. The L is leading and your leadership style, and how you've been able to lead with a lot of humility and discipline, especially discipline. And that really stuck out for me. And then lastly, for me, the E for circle, to complete the circle, is excellence in every single thing that you do. And right down to, I mean, Ifoma kept on asking, she had asked it 3 times, quality. And everything you talked about, you're looking for the best. So excellence in everything, right down to recruiting, excellence in the template, excellence in your ISO certification, excellence in the raw materials. It's so striking, and I love this quote that you said about, we ask most of the time as entrepreneurs, we do not ask the right questions. It was very interesting that you asked the gentleman. You didn't say, oh, the way you asked him gave you so much insight, and with that you could do more research to cite your factory where it is. And today, look at you. You don't depend on NEPA. You're even generating your own electricity. And that has really helped you to be more efficient and more effective in your manufacturing endeavor. So for me, those are the lessons. Everything that you said this last 90 minutes plus, for me is circle, building the right culture, institutionalizing our dream, recruiting with intent. You're very clear about that your role is that of building the next generation of leaders for Nigeria. Recruiting with that intent. Constant, clear communication channels that are open, leading with humility and discipline, and then excellence in everything that you do. So those are some of the things that I've gleaned from this conversation, and from my participants, I'm hearing them saying thank you. They're thanking you for your forthrightness, for the time that you've invested in them. It's really opened a lot of their eyes. Some are still asking to be mentors, but maybe later we can take that conversation about mentoring offline, because I know how busy you are. You guys, if you know how I have harassed Uncle Obi every day, I'm sure you look at his chat and say, this girl, leave me alone, your wala is too much. To get him is not easy. He's this business is running, like he mentioned earlier on. He has investors. He's doing so much, and I think your staff strength. Young group, what's the staff strength now? I know the last time it was like
we're putting 4,000 now, but the last time it was 3,700 and something.
3,700 and something. So if you put that in perspective, Uncle Obi is running 2 or 3 local governments.
I'm not a politician, though. Those guys don't run anything.
It's not easy. 4,000. So that means he's a busy man. So mention might be difficult. But what some of you might not know, the foyer of EDC where you come to, the building was put together by entrepreneurs. And we're so proud to say that we didn't have any expatriate companies support us, but Beloxxi Biscuits supported putting up the structure. And the foyer is actually named after Beloxxi Biscuits. And that's why every morning when you come for your tea, you see, we only buy Beloxxi crackers and sell. And if you see us serving anything that is not Beloxxi, just know that they haven't supplied us with crackers.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, everybody. Please don't go. We want to take a group picture.
How? We're
going to take a picture. So everyone, please.
Has to open their videos. Remember, I want you women to go and wear your wig.
Yeah,
I said it earlier on.
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to open up our videos.
So are we ready?
Thank you.
Are we ready? All right, I'm doing it now. Smile.
Okay, Sosa, open up your video.
All right, the second screen. A lot of people haven't opened theirs on the second screen, but let me take it.
Just try it.
Okay, we're done.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, and it was nice interacting with you people. And my parting word to be that entrepreneurship is a lonely journey, and if we work hard and do our job very well, our country will develop. And I've always wanted people to know that it's not an exclusive club. It's a club that you have to come in with all your passion. And it's only the passion that will take you through the difficult times. And I don't mind what people say. Sometimes some of them will think you're mad. You don't know what you're doing. You should go and take a paid job. But that's what you signed for. So you just keep on working, pushing, praying, and once you do the right thing, it will work. I remember in 2003, when I went to ask Dangote that I needed a meeting with him. So because he's so busy, he gave me 30 minutes. So by the time we finished talking, it was 90 minutes. So, and I remember what he told me. He said, Obi, look, if you make a kind of quality you told me you're going to make, you can't cope with the demand. And I never forgot that statement. So for a farmer that kept on asking questions on quality, and for a lot of you that always worried about this thing, don't worry about the competition. Follow your instincts and philosophy. Whether it's in service or in product, consumers are not stupid. They will always go for the best, particularly if it's edible things. It is more critical because once they make contact with it and they like it, and you're constant with your quality, the sky is the limit. They will become your best ambassadors. You know, it's just like a lot of my friends. I remember somebody that was in government. So I went to Abuja to see him. So I said that, I called my office in Abuja, send some biscuits to him. So by the time I go to his guest house, out of 25 cartons, they've eaten almost 25 visitors. So he took the rest to his house. The children mocked him. And then he now called me at 1 a.m. He said, Obi, look at what happened to me. I said, when I was telling you, you didn't believe me. But if we held election in your house without rigging, I'll probably win you. He started laughing. But all the kids knew about my product except him. So please, in everything you do, always remember, this is the only country we have. You know, we can either live or die here. I mean, the COVID have shown to your tent, oh Israel, everywhere is shut down. We are here. You know, everybody shut down their borders. So, what do? We are here. Nobody will allow you to come to their country. So, in everything you people do, please have at the back of your mind, we are doing this not only to make money, but we are doing this as commitment to our country and humanity. That's why God gave us the talent. And my father said that any talent that is not used to further the cause of humanity in entrepreneurship is completely useless. You know, so treat your customers, treat the consumer the way you want to be treated. No cheating. If people make legitimate complaint, you know, exchange the product. Because a satisfied customer will give you that thing worth millionfold. And it is always important. I see people complain about our product. We call them, retrieve that one, trace back, know what happened, corrected it, and we'll send sample to them. And you see what they write in social media, and people forward it to me. And that is what it should be. That is entrepreneurship. No customer should be taken for granted. No customer should be looked down on. No customer should be disrespected. If you keep that motto, the sky will be your limit. I wish you guys the very best, and I hope and pray that in the near future we'll always converge again to exchange ideas. You know, time permitting after COVID, you guys are always welcome to come to the factory to see what we do. Definitely after COVID, I'm always in the factory at least 2-3 times a week. Once I'm there, you guys can come, go around. So you see what I've said, you see it in practice. You can mingle with all of them and pick 1 or 2 tips from them. It's not a problem. Because at the end of the day, if you guys succeed in what you do, we employ more people, they will reduce poverty and diseases, you know, and reduce unemployment and increase the standard of living of our people. Anywhere you go, the SMEs are the biggest employers of labor. We are the biggest engine room. Don't be deceived with what people say, because at the end of the day, if you succeed, you have so many friends. You know, but you know, the fact that people fail doesn't mean that you should lose hope. Like I always tell some of my people when they ask me, if you're a man and you take the number of women that rejected you before you got married, you will never chase any woman, but you continue to chase, but you find the one that loves you, and then you have a wife. So that's the way it goes. So don't take no for an answer. Don't worry about what people say. It's only God that will determine who will live and who will die. You know, and if God determined that you guys will succeed, you will succeed. But the most important thing is self-truth in entrepreneurship. You know, self-truth. Don't cut corners, don't cheat. Because quality as virtue is its own reward. Once it's good, people may not like your face, they may not like your name, but they won't take away what you have here. They won't take away what that product you deliver to consumers that satisfy them represents. And that's the bottom line. So that's the way it is. So I wish you guys the very best of luck. Stay safe, and we pray that one day we'll all meet again after COVID.
All right. Thank you very much. Uncle Obi, thank you so much.